Hello everybody and welcome in to my video of summarizing the last 50 weeks. It's crazy that it's already been 50 weeks, but that I've done 100-mile weeks. So, and that's running, by the way. So this video is pretty much just a recap of everything, not everything, but brief recap of everything I've done the last 50 weeks, what it's been like to do 100 miles a week. This is mainly to document my personal feelings about the difficulty level, things that I've found work, things that haven't worked, and just to document what it's been like. I'm not sure if I'll even post this anywhere. I might post it on my YouTube channel with 5 subscribers. So, and then Strava, obviously, maybe. And I'm only taking one take. So if I don't like this, we're not going to use it. But anyway, so I graduated from Siena Heights in Adrian, Michigan, in May of 2022. I was on the cross country and track team all 4 years. Always was a big mileage fan, and I spent the summer of 2022 in Minnesota. I took 4 weeks where I only did 15 miles and then started to gradually build from there. And then August 22 to 28 of 2022, I did 100 miles for the first time in 1 week. Not the first time ever, but that was the start of the streak. And from there, I wanted to actually keep building, but I decided to stop at 100 and just kind of stay there and see how things went. And after about 5 weeks, I was like, I think I could do this for a while. And the rest is history, I guess. And in September of that year too, I also ran from Chelsea High School to Siena Heights, which was about 34 miles with the support of some of my friends. And that went really well. That was the furthest I've ever run to that at that point. 34 miles. The most previous I had done was a marathon. So I was nervous headed into it, if my legs could actually take it. But it went really well. And at that gave me a lot of confidence too, headed into other ultra things that I ended up doing. For example, about 3 or 4 weeks later, I ran the entirety of Waterloo Pinckney Trail, which if you're in the Chelsea, Dexter, Pinckney area, you definitely know what that is. And that killed me because so I did it on a Friday. It was about 34 miles ish, and the next week rolled around. I did about 10 miles on the Monday, and then the Tuesday I only did 3 miles because my ankle was killing me for whatever reason from the Waterloo Pinckney run. I didn't use trail shoes. I used Brooks Ghost actually, and kind of messed up my ankle, but pressed through that. That was week 8 was probably the hardest week of all 50, simply because of that. And also I went to Tennessee for the job that I had at the time with Spartan, which is an obstacle course racing company. And it was hard to find time to run, but somehow I got it done. Definitely that's been the hardest week so far. There have been some other hard ones where it was hard to get out and run. But yeah, I did it. Proud. It's honestly, if you told me 5 years ago that I would be at this point as in my running journey, I would not have believed you. And it's been awesome. It's definitely changed me as a person. It's made me much more disciplined. And that kind of leads me into another thing I want to talk about, which is which I'm sure most runners would agree that running consistently comes more down to discipline instead of motivation. I've always thought the motivation was fleeting, I guess you could say, where like it comes and goes. Some days you might be super motivated. Some days you might not be motivated at all. And when you're not motivated at all, that's where the discipline comes in, at least in my view, where I've had many, many days where I didn't want to go out and run. But I told myself, hey, if you want to keep this streak, if you want to keep doing what you're doing, you just gotta suck it up pretty much. And obviously, like, if you're feeling injured, I wouldn't do that. But that's how I kind of got to this point, I would say. Discipline more than motivation is the key. And another major thing that happened to me was in March. I started a job at Adrian College and a coaching job with the distance team, which has been awesome. Very proud of all of them. Cannot wait to start the cross country season here in a couple weeks. Have a lot of good new freshmen. Both the guys and girls side should be good. And I would say too, like, I didn't expect to be a part of a team so soon after I graduated, but it's been really awesome to be around the group and to be able to run with them. That can help me get through some weeks, and just watch them grow too as runners and kind of be their mentor has been awesome, and cannot wait to continue to grow the team. But yeah, that's been awesome. Been there for 5 months and plan to be there for years to come as of right now. But the next 50 weeks, so I plan on doing this at least for another 50 weeks to get to 100. I'll probably keep going after that, barring an injury. That's another thing. I've been blessed, I would say, to not get injured. I don't know if it's the way my body's structured or just luck, or like proper recovery. That's another thing. I stretch twice a day, every day for 10 minutes. Take ice baths probably once a week-ish. I should probably do more of that, but sometimes I'll ice my legs too. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so avoiding injury. I've been very lucky, like I was saying, to avoid injury. I know a lot of people, a lot of runners specifically, deal with various things that just doesn't allow their body to get to a certain point as far as volume, and I'm very thankful that I haven't gotten to that point, at least it seems yet. But yeah, I plan on doing 100-mile weeks for at least the next 50 weeks, and probably beyond that. And some other challenges that I did the last 50 weeks, probably the hardest one was the 60-hour challenge, which I started at 7 a.m. of October 30th, did 30 minutes of that hour, and then at 8 a.m. did 29 minutes, 9 a.m. 28. It's kind of complicated, but you go all the way down to 1 through the night, and then start at 1 again, all the way back up to 30. And so that took me 60 hours, obviously. And 3 days, 2 nights, definitely the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's just brutal to have to suffer through a night alone when you know, like, everybody else that you know is asleep. And there's a certain type of fatigue you get when you do an on-the-hour challenge. And I just got done attempting to do 100 hours straight of running a mile every hour. I've done that twice now and failed both times. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it again, because it's just not fun. It feels more like torture than like a running challenge, to be honest. It's more about staying awake through the night, and that's just not fun. But we'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. I might try the 60-hour challenge again, but this time reverse. That's a potential challenge. One big one. Okay, well, this September, that is, I would like to... This is going to sound crazy, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to do it, but I want to start from Lake Superior in Brimley, Michigan, run through the night to the Mackinac Bridge. There's a race every Labor Day. It's almost more of like a fun run, and then get to the bridge, run across the bridge, and then finish, which is about 49 miles. But that would be at night in the UP with hopefully some bike support. But it just sounds like a dangerous thing, which, danger can be fun, but I don't want to hurt myself or encounter an animal. But we'll see. We'll see if I do that. October, I want to... Okay, so this one I've been thinking about for a long time. Michigan and Michigan State play October 21st. Thankfully, we do not have a meet scheduled that day for the cross team. And so what I'd like to do is run starting from the big house all the way to Sparty Stadium. Okay, or whatever it's called. I don't know if that's what it's called, but you get the idea. Basically, running from the University of Michigan to MSU. And I've mapped that out, and it's about 60 miles, which would be the furthest I've ever run. And as of right now, the furthest I've ever run is a 40-mile race. Or it wasn't even a race. It was around a track. So... But at some point, I definitely want to do like an organized 50-mile race. First start with 50 mile, then maybe do 100K, then hopefully do 100-mile soon. It's just hard to find a race that like is close enough and that I can find a good weekend to get down there. There weren't really too many this summer that were close. But anyway, hopefully going to do that soon. Also, I want to do a marathon in Georgia in March during our spring break. So that should work out. But other than that, I think that's about it. I hope all of you guys' running journeys are going well. Appreciate you watching the video in its entirety if you made it to this point. But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing. 100-mile weeks. Keep pumping them out. But stay tuned.